Hi everyone. So we've finally reached the last video. So this one it's a bit heavy going really. This is just about drug and alcohol awareness. And it's kind of frightening when you can see all the drugs that are out there, but I suppose forewarned is forearmed. So we'll go through all the different types of drugs and look at the side effects of them. So that by the end of the video you will have a clearer idea of what's out there. So checking in with ourselves. So answer this question: are alcohol and drugs bad? So do you think that alcohol and drugs are bad? And I suppose what will come into play here will be your own relationship or your own opinion around it. So for some people, they will say, yeah, alcohol and drugs are bad because they ruined my life, or my dad was an alcoholic, or my brother was addicted to cocaine, or so you're bringing your own story to this. So for some people, certainly yes, alcohol and drugs are bad, and for other people, they're not. So it's really down to the individual situation, to your individual situation. So we can't make any blanket statement that no, they're not bad, or yes, they are bad. They are what they are. And I suppose as a society, we need to look at, the why people use alcohol and drugs, rather than, trying to criminalize it and trying to, crush it. It just keeps cropping up in different ways. Okay, so some of the terminology that can be used or that you might hear. You might know these already, or maybe they might be completely brand new to you. So DTs stands for delirial tremors, which refers to the shaking and sweating associated with withdrawal symptoms, particularly in the case of serious alcohol withdrawal. Endorphins are the natural pain-killing substances found in the brain, and endorphins are one of the neurotransmitters in the brain, and its levels in the brain can be altered by taking drugs such as heroin or alcohol or any different type of drug. Dual diagnosis is a coexisting diagnosis of mental health illness and a substance abuse disorder, and one or other can be the primary diagnosis. And what I mean by that is that sometimes people will have a mental health issue and they'll self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. So they'll have the mental health issue first, and then they'll take the substance to kind of alleviate the symptoms of the mental health issue. Or sometimes people will develop a mental health issue because of the drug and alcohol use. So they can develop depression or psychosis or anything because of the drug and alcohol use. And chasing the dragon is a way of smoking heroin. It involves placing heroin on a foil and heating it from below with a lighter, and you'll just smoke it. Okay, so you inhale the smoke. So classifications. So each drug has a class, and the class, depending on the class, then will depend on what punishment a person gets if they are found to be in possession of a drug. So class A drugs include opium, crack, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, LSD, magic mushrooms, and amphetamines, which is speed for injecting. Personal use is up to 7 years prison time and or a fine, and sale or supply is up to lifetime imprisonment and or a fine. Class B is amphetamines, barbiturates, and codeines. And there's up to 5 years prison time and up to 14 years prison time for sale or supply. And the class C then is cannabis, some painkillers, antibiotics, steroids, and tranquilizers. And personal use can be up to 2 years in prison, and for sale or supply can be up to 5 years prison time. So that's if you're dealing it. Okay. So drugs and alcohol, what happens in the body? So the quickest and most dangerous is to inject a drug intravenously. And almost as quick is smoking, followed by sniffing and snorting. Eating and drinking a drug is the slowest route. So that's the different ways people can use drugs. So they can inject it, snort it, smoke it, drink it, eat it. Once in the brain, the drug affects chemicals called neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters also alter people's moods and feelings. So some neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and dopamine, these will be released in the brain when someone takes a drug or a substance. The side effects then will be that the person will feel high, euphoria, so that's the positive side effects, because people don't take drugs because they want them to make them feel bad. They take them because they want to get the positive side effects. So where they feel relaxed and happy and chilled, that's the feeling they're chasing. And then the negative ones can be the withdrawal, depression, insomnia, and there's a whole load of different side effects that we'll go into depending on the drug. And after effects, so this is the big one, that I see coming into my practice, is it use, abuse, or addiction. So use means that, people might use alcohol and drugs recreationally now and again, have no serious side effects, but no serious consequences. Abuse, where there will be heavier use, so they will be using it a lot more frequently, maybe in larger quantities, maybe drinking more, maybe using more drugs. There might be some negative consequences, the health may be starting to suffer a little bit. And then the final stage is addiction, where the person literally cannot survive without the substance, and they go into severe withdrawals and severe pain, and it's really a horrible place to be. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I suppose just to say that, not everyone that uses or recreational use will go on to abuse and will go on to be addicted, but it does happen. And we can't predict who will become dependent on alcohol or drugs. We can't say that, one person will and the other person won't. We just don't know. So when someone takes a substance, we don't know how they're going to react to it, how it's going to interact with their body, how it's going to affect them psychologically. We just don't know. We can't predict. Okay, so alcohol. So this is first up. So to me, I suppose, and this is just a personal opinion, I often hear said that cannabis is the gateway drug, and that leads on to other drugs. But I think that alcohol is, because young people will have tried alcohol, maybe way before they would have tried a drug. So alcohol is a depressant. You have beer, wine, liquor, cider, booze, different names for it. It's consumed orally, so you drink it. The effects are, it can be a relaxant. People can feel more confident. They lose the inhibition, so they're inclined to be more confident in themselves. Then of course there's all the negative sides. Dizziness, depression, nausea, hangover, slurred speech, disturbed sleep, impaired motor skills, violent behavior, all the stuff that we see in the news and going on in our community. A lot of it is alcohol related. I just put in the standard recommendations. So this is the standard recommendations by the World Health Organization. What are our healthy limits? And it's 11 standard drinks for women and 17 standard drinks for men, with at least 2 alcohol-free days every week. So a standard drink is 1 glass of beer. So that's a standard drink. And a small glass of wine, so not the big massive glasses, but a small glass, 100 mils of wine, and a pub measure of spirits, which is 35 mils of spirit. That's a standard drink. And the recommendation is that you don't have more than 6 at any one sitting. So if you're only having less than that, 6 or less. And that's the recommendations. So just to kind of bring that into your awareness. Okay. True or false? A blackout is when you pass out from drink. So false. A blackout is a type of memory loss. Your friends can recite what you did, but you can't. It's an early warning sign to cut down. So if you are having blackouts, it means you're drinking too much, really, and you're drinking to the extent where you can't remember half the night or half of what happened. So it's just a warning sign. Maybe I need to cut down a little bit. Okay, cannabis. So cannabis is a hallucinogen and a depressant. Some of the street names then are weed, posh, grass, dope, hash, skunk. So there's different types. It can be smoked or eaten. So people can burn it and put it into yogurts or put it into cookies or anything and eat it. and it can also be smoked. The effects, that will make the person feel more relaxed and more chilled out. But I suppose excessive use can lead to poor concentration, coordination, paranoia, intense anxiety, memory loss, judgment, difficulty speaking. There's a whole list of, side effects that can be, negative to cannabis use as well. And so again, this drug can be, there's a lot of talk about legalizing it and everything. And I think for some people, that's a no-go area. For other people, they think, no, it's fine. I've used cannabis and I've never had any negative, consequences. But again, really what we have to look at is, the person. So when someone takes a substance, we don't know how they're going to react. And some people will be fine and some people won't. So that's what we really need to keep in our awareness. Okay, so true or false? You can get addicted to cannabis. So true. You can get dependent on it. You can get totally caught up in it. Many people consider cannabis to be a relatively safe drug, but research shows that long-term users can find it hard to control their use of the drug and may become dependent. Okay. So ecstasy. So ecstasy is a stimulant. And there's some of the street names. And there's just a little picture of what they might look like. And you can also get it in liquid format. And how is it consumed? So orally, so the tablet is taken or the liquid is drank. The effects make the person feel alert and energetic and positive emotions. These are the positive effects, and this is why people use it, because obviously it gives a positive, some positive side effects. But like everything, like every drug, there is a risk with it. We don't know what they're made of, or we don't know fully what they're made of. There could be anything mixed in with them. So there can be psychiatric disturbances, panic, anxiety, depression, paranoia, muscle tension, blurred vision, sweating, increased heart rate, tremors, hallucinations, fainting, chills, sleep problems, and reduced appetite. So excessive use can bring on all those, and even one tablet can bring on all those. So OTC is over-the-counter drugs, and these can be available without prescription. So Benadryl, Nurofen, aspirin, paracetamol, some people can kind of get, a bit of a kick off those. And some over-the-counter drugs are associated with misuse, such as any codeine medicines, so any codeine-based painkillers or cough syrups, and people can get a kick out of them and can become dependent on them. So legal highs. So these are, here in Ireland a couple of years ago, they were the head shop drugs. So you could literally go into the shop and buy these, and then we, started seeing that they were having serious side effects and everything. But I suppose now they can be bought, the head shop drugs are closed down, but now they can be bought online. So legal highs are intoxicating drugs that are not controlled or prohibited under the Misuse of Drugs Act. They can be purchased over the internet. And these are some of the names. Salvia, sold as an alternative to ecstasy. Spice is sold as a legal alternative to cannabis. Cathinonian derivatives sold as legal alternatives to cocaine, ecstasy, and amphetamine type drugs. LSA is sold as legal alternative to LSD. Most of these substances have not been tested on humans, and producers create new versions of the substance as soon as they are declared legal, which makes it very difficult to track. So as soon as one of the components of the drug is found to be dangerous, they'll change that component and market it as something else. So really, the legal highs, they're just as bad as street drugs, really, I think. Okay, so LSD is an hallucinogen. The street names include acid, microdot, tabs, dosage trips, heat sugar cubes, and they're taken orally. And the person gets kind of what's called the trip, and that can be a positive experience or it can be a negative experience. So LSD will elevate body temperature and blood pressure. There'll be suppressed appetite, sleeplessness, tremors, chronic recurring hallucinations. So the person can get flashbacks, down the line after, if they use LSD. So inhalants, again, this is a hallucinogen. So there are laughing gas, pipettes, aerosol sprays, cleaning fluids, and solvents. And the vapors are inhaled, so they can inhale the spray or the vapor from the can. And the side effects, again, there will be a high from it, but you know, they can get headaches, muscle weaknesses, abdominal pain, mood swings, violent behavior, nausea, nosebleeds, liver, lung, and kidney damage, lack of coordination, fatigue, loss of appetite, decreases in heart and respiratory rates. So there's a whole load of side effects to inhalants as well. And of course, these are widely available in the shops. And again, people can use them to get a high out of them. So amphetamines. So these are stimulant, and the street names includes speed, uppers, ups, and hearts. And they can be consumed orally, injected, snorted, or smoked. And I suppose amphetamines, you know, because they're a stimulant, you know, it will increase energy, and the person will feel more alert, more energetic. And the negative side effects then can include irritability, anxiety, increased blood pressure. You know, excessive use can lead to paranoia, psychosis, depression, aggression. There's just a whole load of side effects. And again, we can't predict how a drug will react in someone. So on to the class A's. So cocaine is a stimulant, and the street names include coke, snow, nose candy, Charlie, blow, crack. And it can be snorted, smoked, or injected. And the side effects include, again, the person will feel more alert and more energetic and more aware. But of course, again, there are side effects. There can be high blood pressure and heart rate, respiratory problems, seizures, insomnia, anxiety, you know, restless irritability, increased body temperature. The person can feel euphoric, confident, excited, and energetic. So that's really what the person is chasing with any drug. They're the positive side effects. Okay, so crack cocaine. The chemical cocaine hydrochloride is commonly known as cocaine. Some users chemically process cocaine in order to remove the hydrochloride, and this process is called freebasing and makes the drug more potent. And crack is a solid form of freebased cocaine, and it's called crack because it snaps and cracks when heated and smoked. So it's a more potent form of cocaine. So true or false? Cocaine is addictive. So true. So while cocaine is not regarded as physically addictive, it can produce severe psychological dependence because of the strong cravings it produces, leading to compulsive patterns of use. So while it's not physically addictive, it's psychologically addictive. And it can lead to a person really using it compulsively where they can't stop. Okay, so heroin. So heroin is an opiate. And street names include smack, horse, mud, brown, sugar, junk, black jar, BKH, dope. So there's a load of different street names. And it can be smoked or injected. And the effects include feeling relaxed and drowsy. There'll be elevated blood pressure and heart rate, increased respiratory rate. There can be seizures and heart attack, insomnia, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, increased body temperature, HIV. They can be contracted through sharing needles and overdose. And chasing the dragon is a way of smoking heroin. It usually involves placing powdered heroin on a file and heating from below with a lighter. So that would be used to smoke it, and it would also be used for injecting, where they dissolve the heroin. Okay. So true or false? You can't get addicted to heroin if you don't inject it. So what do you think? You can't get addicted to heroin if you don't inject it. And that's false. All methods of use can lead to addiction, and the use of intravenous needles can result in the transmission of HIV. So all methods of use are addictive and highly addictive. So what now? So we can't predict if our children will use alcohol or drugs. However, now we are more aware of what's out there in relation to drugs. We also know about our parenting and communication styles. We also know what the risk and protective factors are, so we know what increases the risk and reduces the risk of our children using alcohol or drugs. And we can start now to improve the relationship with our children and build resilience. So therefore we have hope. So it's not all, this module isn't about scaremongering. It's just about being aware of what's out there. And at the end of the 5 weeks, being aware of, what you need to do as a parent to build resilience in your child, what you need to do to keep that, that relationship open and that relationship in a positive place, and what you need to build on. And that you do have influence over this, that you're not totally, as a parent, you're not totally out of control or not totally powerless in this situation. I suppose we have to recognize that drugs and alcohol are out there. They are part of society. They're not going away. We just need to be a bit more prepared and a bit more informed. So this is the final quote of the day. And this is a powerful one from Kofi Annan. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premises of progress in every society, in every family. So knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. So I hope after the 5 weeks that you are definitely feeling a bit more educated and a bit more informed, and maybe a bit more guided as to what you can do as a parent to support your child and to build those protective factors and to build resilience, and the things you need to do to maybe take care of yourself so that you can be the best parent that you can be. I hope you have enjoyed the 5 modules, and they're going to be up on the site for a good while, so you have access to them to watch them over and over if you need to. You have been getting my emails. If you have any questions or anything, then by all means do get back to me, and I'll do my very best to answer them. So I hope you've enjoyed this journey. I know I definitely have. It's been really a long time dream of mine to do a course like this and to put it out there and to support parents and to give information. As I said at the start, it's my gift to society, and it's my gift to the world. I hope it does make a difference in people's lives, and I hope it does kind of reduce, the risks that are out there for our young people. Because I suppose ignoring them won't make them go away. They are there. And as parents, we just need to be a bit more prepared around that. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. As I say, if you have any questions, then please do get in contact with me and I'll get back to you. So that's it for now, folks. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.